Welcome back to Blue Collar Retirement. Over the next few episodes, we're going to walk through a three-part series on investing in retirement. Not how to chase returns, but how to think about your money once you've already worked hard to build it. Let's start with a simple question. When you retire, what matters more? Growing your money or protecting it? And maybe a better question is, what happens if you try to do both without a clear plan? That's what we're going to talk about today, starting with interest-bearing investments. Interest-bearing investments are exactly what they sound like. These are investments that pay you a set or predictable amount of interest over time. Examples include CDs, bonds, Treasury securities, fixed annuities, and savings or money market accounts. These type of investments are generally considered more conservative because they focus on stability and income rather than growth. You're not investing in a company hoping it increases in value. You're depositing money and getting paid interest in return. During your working years, the focus is often on growth. You have time to ride out the ups and downs, but in retirement, things change. You're no longer contributing in the same way, and you may be taking withdrawals. Losses can have a bigger impact because you don't always have time to recover. That's where interest-bearing investments come in. They can provide stability, predictable income, and help reduce the impact of market volatility. They're not designed for big gains. They're designed to reduce uncertainty. There's always a trade-off. Interest-bearing investments are more stable, but they typically offer lower returns than the stock market. Over time, that matters because even in retirement, your money still needs to grow to keep up with inflation. If everything is placed in very low return investments, purchasing power can slowly decline. So the real question becomes how much stability you need and how much growth you can still afford to pursue. Of all the interest-bearing options, the safest would be the United States securities that are sold by the U.S. Treasury Department. They come in three options. Securities that mature in 1 year or less are Treasury bills. You can buy maturities as short as 4 weeks out to a full year. These are offered at a discount when you buy them. Here's how it works. You buy a 1-year U.S. Treasury bill with a face value of $1,000 and a 4% interest rate. You will pay just under $960 for this Treasury bill. When it matures 1 year later, you will receive $1,000. This interest will be taxable with after-tax money. But by working through a broker, you can also buy these within your IRA or Roth accounts. The second option is Treasury notes. These are securities that have maturities greater than 1 year up to 10 years. These are not discounted like Treasury bills. Instead, you purchase them at the face value. They also pay you interest periodically. Every 6 months, they will pay you the interest that you've locked in when you purchased the note. The third option is Treasury bonds. These bonds are issued for 20 years or 30 years. They will also pay you interest every 6 months. Now, the last option are TIPS. This stands for Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. With these securities, your interest rate will rise and fall based on the current inflation rate. The bank offers a variety of interest-bearing accounts. Some checking accounts will offer an interest rate, but they are usually minimal. Bank savings accounts will normally offer a higher rate, but still minimal. The advantage to these accounts is that they are very liquid. In retirement, you will need an emergency account, and it helps if they also offer you some interest. Money markets are also in this category as being liquid but limited interest. Some money market accounts will limit the number of withdrawals that you can take in a month. Certificates of deposits, or CDs, are the most common vehicle for earning interest at the bank. The maturity dates on CDs are similar to Treasury securities. They can be as short as 1 month out to 10 years. With both CDs and Treasuries, a popular strategy is to ladder the maturities. For example, you may buy CDs that mature in 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. This gives you a rolling schedule of money that becomes liquid and, if not needed, can be pushed out to the future. You can do the same thing with Treasury securities. Corporate and government bonds are a separate category. Government bonds are offered by states and local municipalities. These also have a wide range of maturities, and some have unique tax benefits. For example, if you buy a municipal bond in your home state, it would be exempt from taxes at the federal, state, and local government. It is possible to buy individual bonds, but there can be a simpler way. There are many bond funds and ETFs that give you diversity in the bonds and are more liquid. When you buy a standalone bond, you may find that if you need to sell it quickly, you could end up with a sizable loss before it matures. With bond funds and bond ETFs, they can be sold on the market in a relatively short time if needed. The same is true with corporate bonds. They can be bought individually or in a fund. When buying individual bonds, you need to watch how they are rated. Large rating companies like Moody's and Standard & Poor's look at the credit worthiness of a company and give it a rating to the risk of you getting your money back. The idea of laddering can also be done with bonds to give you a schedule of maturities and liquidity. The final category for interest-bearing accounts are fixed annuities. These are offered by insurance companies, and they also have a wide range of maturity dates. Many companies offer multi-year guaranteed annuities, meaning that the interest rate is fixed for a specific period of time. They have an advantage over CDs in that the interest is tax deferred. You're not claiming that interest until you take the money out of the account. They offer some liquidity features. So, for example, you may be able to take 10% out of the annuity each year before it matures. The disadvantage to a fixed annuity is that if you had to close the account early, you may suffer a substantial penalty. Interest-bearing investments are rarely meant to stand alone. They are one piece of a larger strategy. Think of them as a steady portion of a portfolio, the part designed to provide income and reduce risk. When combined with other investments, they help create a balance that aligns with your actual needs. A common misconception is that once you retire, everything should move into safe investments. But going too conservative can create its own risk over time. Another misconception is that these investments are completely risk-free. While they are more stable than stocks, they still carry risk, especially with inflation and changing interest rates. Interest-bearing investments are not about chasing performance. They're about creating stability and predictability in a phase of your life where both matters more. The goal isn't to eliminate risk, but to manage it in a way that supports your income and the desired peace of mind. In part 2, we'll talk about the stock market and how it plays a role in retirement.
Safety First Retirement, ensuring your financial dreams.